Hello, everyone. This is a 32 back here again this week with just a little bit of mail, a few things, which probably means more than a few things. Anyways, I did get some decks this week, pretty nice ones. I got some new decks from King's Wild, the new Robin Hood decks. I did say Robins, I meant Robin Hood. It's a new Nottingham edition, and you got this nice poker size one. But then there's also a little bitty mini one, the Little John deck, which is a mini sized deck. The only one that actually has actual jokers, the other ones have diptych jokers. And then there's the Longbow, which is a big kind of tarot sized one, which is really cool. They all have unique back designs and a similar artwork on the faces, different backs though, and some different jokers. And then I got some decks here from Kings and Crooks, all about the keys this week. Kings Wild, Kings and Crooks. Finally, I've been waiting for these for quite some time. I'm here to finally, of course, designed by Lee McKenzie. And we have the Cavaliers. This is the classic. The Cavaliers are based on Cuban cigars and Havana. It's really cool. And then there's this one, which is the Export 1800. It's an 1800s themed version with interesting art, and it opens up here in the front to show you the cigars. Beautiful artwork on the inside of the box as foil, and then it actually still opens for the cards on top, which is cool. I really like that interior artwork and everything. And then there's this one, which is the what is it called? The Libra edition, the Export Libra edition. It's kind of like a modern take on that 1800 one, which is a weathered one. This one's a nice clean white one, very nice, white and blue. And then there's this one. This one is a mystery deck. I think only cost me like £1. It's the Havana House. This is not available. You did not, this is not on the project. You didn't know it was coming, but he gave you the option to add a mystery deck for £1. And there it is. Very nice. It's a casino style version. Very nice decks. On to the games, shall we? First I got a teeny one. We'll start off with the small ones. I got this on Backer Kit, one of several that I've won on, or at least a few. And this is designed by Tati Wu, with art by Holly Chu, and it's produced by Sunrise Tornado Games, and it's a tiny little game called Cat's Gambit. It is a solo chess puzzle. Very interesting. So you got cards that can move in certain ways and within this grid, and you need to try to play them all out, I guess, while trying to avoid getting checkmated twice, basically. You can be checked twice. Yeah, pretty cool. Tiny little game. Speaking of tiny little games, I also got this one from a seller on Board Game Geek. Two of them from the same seller. This one is called Anaphylaxis, which is a little trick-taking game. It's so small, it does not even have rules within it. It's a little bitty tuck box with a few cards, basically. It's a trick-taking game where you just have cards numbered 1 through 5 in the 4 suits. There's 2 4s and 2 5s. You remove 1s and 5s if you're doing 3 players, basically. And basically, you're going to be playing a fairly basic trick-taking game. But if you ever win 2 4s or 2 5s of the same suit, you get eliminated. However, you kind of want to win the 4s and the 5s because they can give you points. So it's an interesting game. And then the other one I got from that seller on Board Game Geek is Plotter's Ache. Now, unfortunately, this is a Korean version. I thought it might have been an American version, but it's not. Not a big deal. It's designed by Klaus Palles, art by Haley Young. All I know about this one is that it's from Hataru's System. I don't know who designed it. It doesn't say, or at least not in English. But this one does. This one is a trick-taking game as well, where you have 4 suits of cards, and you're going to be winning cards. The way it works is whoever plays the lead suit is considered trump. However, it is only a Mayfollow, so you can actually play Other suits, however, once there is free suits played into the game, you can no longer play any more different suits. You can only have free suits max in a trick. And then whoever plays the highest card of the lead suit wins the trick. And then whoever plays the lowest card of the non-trump suits will also win, basically. Basically, whoever wins by playing the highest card of the lead suit or trump suit gets to select two cards to collect, and then the person who plays the lowest card plays two cards. Now, if everyone were to follow and play the lead suit for whatever reason, only the person who wins the trick gets to collect cards. And the idea is you're going to be collecting cards. Once you've collected at least one of each of the four suits, you have to select two suits that you want to go for. The rest go face down into a discard pile. And at the end of the game, or end of the round, I guess, what happens is you will multiply the two that you decided to go for, and then you're going to divide that by the number of other cards you've collected that are not of those two suits. So it's a very interesting game as well. Then I got a couple of games on Amazon that fortunately ship together, just less hassle. First one is from Fantasy Flight Games. I don't know if I have any other games from them, but they're a very big company, pretty big company in terms of games. This came out in 2016. It's designed by one Bruno Cafala, who's done just a few games. And this is the Game of Thrones Hand of the King, where you are moving around this Lord Varys card in a grid of cards with different characters from the different houses in the Game of Thrones. Each house has a different amount of characters, and basically you're trying to collect them and gain a majority in the most houses. Pretty simple game. Pretty nice for what it is. And the other game I got on Amazon is from a company called Barnmade Games. It's designed by Isaac Meyer, and it's called Expressins. Express yourself. Basically, it's a game where you have cards in 5 different suits representing different expressions: anger, sadness, joy, disgust, and fear. The green one is how I feel about Donald Trump. Disgust. Says it's number one in a series of small box games. I'm not sure what other games they have, but basically it's a game where you're trying to find perfect harmony, and you're trying to do that by correctly guessing what cards other players have. On your turn, you're going to be able to put a card in front of you. It has different symbols on each of the four sides representing that this is the highest card of this suit, lowest card in this suit, or they have more cards of this number, or figure out what the fourth one is. It's a cooperative game. And basically, so you can put a card down and give a clue, or you can take a guess as to what another player has. And if you're correct, that card you guessed and a random one from your hand gets put into the harmony side of the board. However, if you're incorrect, the card that you guessed, if somebody else has it, will be put into the other side of the board, which I forget what it's called at the time being. It's right here. I forget what it's called. And you would also put a card in that. You're trying to get more cards on the one side than the other to win, basically. That's kind of cool. Nice simple little game. Then I got some games here from Board Game Bliss, because of course, what is a week of mail without some Board Game Bliss? First, I got a little expansion for the game Velanimo, which is a ladder climbing game. This is the Legend expansion. I think it's from Asmodee. I think this is the multilingual international version. But it's a cool little ladder climbing game, and this just adds a little something more to it. Then I got a game here from Eagle Griffin Games called Rival Realms by Ralph Regals. I like how they use the R in the name for the designer's name as well. And this, it says it's part of this Fantastica series of games, but it's a standalone game. I don't know anything about Fantastica. But this is a game that is basically, I've looked at another game on my channel, also from Eagle Griffin, called Musée, which is a nice little game about a museum where you are playing cards into free rows on a museum, free levels, and trying to like match sets and stuff like that, connect stuff. This is based on that game. except it's for 1 or 2 players, and that was really a selling point for me, the solo mode. Actually, it's not Ralph, it's Alf Seegert. It's kind of weird. It kind of looks like the R as part of his name. Alf Seegert. I apologize. But, yeah, it's kind of an interesting little game where you and your opponent are magicians in this, trying to put together this realm with different landscapes. It's kind of interesting. Then I got one that's coming up this week on our channel. I wasn't sure it was going to be here in time for Halloween, but it did come, so I decided to do it, and it is from Keymaster Games, Campy Creatures Volume 1, the third edition of Campy Creatures, which is a little set collection game where you are using different creatures to capture mortals and try to score the most points. It's pretty cool. I like it. Simple little game. And then the last one from Board Game Bliss is a game called Lose, which is basically Portuguese for light. Might actually be Latin for light, I'm not sure. It's designed by Taiki Shinzawa with art by Crocotame, and it's from Yellow Games. And it's a trick-taking game where you're going to have a hand of cards. You're going to be dealt a hand of cards. There's going to be, each person gets 10 cards, and 10 cards are going to be left over. And you're going to sort your cards by suit from highest to lowest, or lowest to highest. And you're going to use a card to indicate which side is the high side. And then you're going to pass your cards to the person on your left. They're going to take them without looking at them, have them facing everyone else. Then, without looking at your cards, you have to make a prediction how many tricks you think you're going to win. Only seeing the cards you already saw and 2 other people's cards, and not knowing what's not in the game. And it's a pretty interesting concept, in my opinion. Then I got a couple other games here. First one I got from Noble Knight Games. I believe it was from Noble Knight. It's also from Keymaster. It is Trails, which is a nice level little game, 2 to 4 players, that is about moving up and down this trail and collecting badges and pictures, which are cards. And I think it's really cool. It's a standalone game in the Parks series. I actually have a deck of cards from the Parks series, the first project they did way back when. Yeah, it's a little game about hiking through the parks. It's really cool. I like it. Beautiful artwork. The artwork is by the wonderful, this is designed by 59 Parks and Henry Audubon, I believe. The artwork is by Beth Sobel, I think, if I recall. I could be wrong. Now I want to know. Who did the artwork? Development Max Schuler. No, I guess I was wrong. There's other artists, but not Beth Sobel. That's right. There's a bunch of different artists because each park has artwork from a different artist. Alright, a couple more games here. The next one is from a shop called Game Night Games out back in my old hometown, Winnipeg, that I got something once before, way back before I moved, but they actually sent me around once, so I was nervous about this, what they sent me the correct one this time. And this one is illustrated by Beth Sobel. It's a trick-taking game from Action Phase Games, and also I believe Indie Boarding Game, I believe, is also involved. And designed by Daniel Solis. It is Trickster Champions of Time. Now, this is an interesting trick-taking game where one person will be a trickster, that being the person who follows the lead player. And you get all these suits that have different heroes and suit colors, symbols, no numbers, and basically, after the star player leads, the next player, the trickster, can either follow the color that was led, the hero that was led, or neither one. You just not follow. And then everyone else has to follow what he did. And also, all the cards have actions that you get to take when you play them. There's basically 2 decks of cards. It's a really big box for 2 decks of cards, I would say. Very big. But it is what it is. It's an interesting game. I'm trying to think of who wins the trick now. There's no values. It's a multi-dimensional game of multi-dimensional mischief like no other. This came out a few years ago, 2016. So it's not new, but it's new to me and looks pretty interesting. And then finally, I got one here from Missing Board Games. This one's also illustrated by Beth Sobel. It's a trick-taking game called Wicked and Wise, designed by Fortessa Elise and put out by Weird Giraffe Games. This is an interesting trick-taking game where you can play 2 to 6 players. Recommended is 4 to 6 players because you'll be playing in teams, and one person will be a dragon, the other one will be a mouse. The dragon is trying to win a trick, the mouse is trying to help him. All the cards have abilities that the mouse can use on their turn to do different things. And then the dragon is simply trying to win the trick by playing the highest cards. And the way it works is Dragon 1 will play, followed by Dragon 2, then Mouse 1, and then Mouse 2. And then Dragon 1 and Dragon 2 will play second cards into the trick, which is a little bit weird. There's some things about the game that are a little bit interesting, a little bit weird. There's a lot of decks of cards. It takes up a bit of table space. There's a gem suit of cards that you can, the mouse can put into play and pass to the dragon to play as you play the game. And there's role cards, there's tabletop cards, there's treasure cards. Basically, at the end, when you win a trick, you can either select the treasure card, which gives you some kind of an ability, or you can just take a couple of coins. And whatever you don't do, your opponents get to do. And kind of interesting. You can play with 2 players, but it's going to be a bit different. And same with 3 or 5 players, because in 3 or 5 players, one person has to play a dragon and a mouse by himself, so it's kind of awkward. Anyway, I do have an expansion for this coming from Board Game Bliss, of course. Who else? That is it for this week, though. Comment, like, subscribe, and what you think. We'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.